Morning. It is 8:01. I've been talking to you for the last couple minutes. I just forgot to hit the go button, the one that makes this go. I forgot. That's on me. Anyway, we're going to try this again, but like for real. Good morning to you. It is a beautiful, beautiful Friday morning in Central Florida. Let's take you outside. And if you're watching it on the live stream, then this is live. If you're watching it on the tape, this was, 8:02 in the morning. But it's pretty. There's a look at the tourist district, a little bit of haze. Still gorgeous though, right? Let's look. I always try the Orlando International Airport Tower Cam, but I think they sunset this one, so I need to go get the new RTSP feeds for it. Oh well. All right, let's head to downtown Orlando, see what's doing on this camera. And it is so pretty outside. Of course, everybody getting ready in the downtown area for EDC Orlando, the Electric Daisy Carnival. If you're unfamiliar. I've never been. I said to a colleague this week, I'd like to go. I was promptly told I am far too old to go to this. So apparently I'm not going to be able to go to this. Oh, well. All right. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of great fun for the folks that enjoy the well, I'll still be jamming to the music, so it is what it is. Let's head up to the beach, see what's doing. Oh, look at that. Like a little bit of marine layer. Just a little bit. That's kind of a neat shot, isn't it? Yeah. All right, let's head over to the port, see what's doing there. Still that tall ship. I don't know what the deal is with it, but it's fascinating looking, right? With the mast. This is from our Rusties at the Port Tower cam. There's Utopia of the Seas off in the distance. Gorgeous morning. And last but not least, have to take you up to Ocala. Little bit of visibility issues here, but Cam Tran yesterday pointed this out, and is so on. We already have the Christmas tree up there. You see that? Are y'all ready for the holidays? Yeah. So anyway, but in addition to that, yeah, you can kind of see some of those visibility issues. So it's not, I mean, like it's not widespread foggy. Visibility, stand by. Visibilities around Central Florida. Definitely lowered in Ocala, where we saw more of that kind of foggish, hazish, right? 2 mile visibility at the Ocala Airport, about 4.5 mile visibility in Wildwood. Ceilings, this, of course, is how low the either broken or overcast layer is, sitting at 300 feet in Ocala. So definitely a little bit of additional soupage up that direction. Otherwise, we're doing just fine. First warning, live Doppler radar. Checking it out and finding a few light showers. Not too much. Let me take you up to Flagler County. See what's doing. There's some light sprinkles coming on in and some new stuff developing right off the shoreline there at Flagler Beach. Nothing too strong, certainly nothing severe, but a little bit of light rainfall around. Temperatures gross. I mean, I'm just going to call a spade a spade. At least it's the lower 70s, but it's still warm. 73 in Orlando, 72 degrees in Ocala, 77 in Daytona Beach. Forecast today, another hot day. Easterly breeze, 10, 15 miles an hour. 83 by lunchtime. We are 86 by the afternoon. And as a matter of fact, that's not crazy. If we were to pull up yesterday, all right. Actually, this is going to be today's numbers. Yeah. So 86. The average is 80. The record today, 89. So we're going to be close to the record. What I was looking for, that's peak wind. I'm looking for yesterday's high temperatures. Here we are. Yeah. No. Let me just make sure that none of these are overwritten. Just hold on a second. Just making sure nobody overrode a temperature. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah. Yuck. So there you go. So we were in the upper 80s yesterday. Orlando Executive Airport showed 91 yesterday afternoon. So it was hot. Forecast for today, we saw the record in Orlando, but notice even in our other locations, we will be, I know, Tiffany, it's because it didn't have the data. But look at the forecast on the left column and the record on the right column, and notice that we're going to be near records yet again for Orlando, for Sanford, particularly record watch in Leesburg, right? And the coastline, not as much, but listen, you get a little extra sunshine, break the whole thing. Tiffany, 96 in the Villages? There's no way. That must have been, hold on. Is that what that showed? I didn't even notice it. It says 96 in Wildwood. I can assure you we did not hit 96 in Wildwood. I don't know what that is. Ignore that. Thank you for pointing that out, but no. Thankfully, we did not hit that. So clearly above average. Here's the average high temperatures: 80 in Orlando, 79 in Leesburg. Yeah, clearly we're nowhere near the average temperatures. So just know, yet again today we are talking about heat, right? We are at 82 degrees in Palm Coast, 87 in Wedgefield, 83 in Titusville. Yeah. Chris says, saw someone hinting at much cooler temps coming. So there is some indication that we could. Let me dial up the meteogram. We'll dial up the GFS. I will dial up the GFS temperatures, but understand this is a computer model, so the whole guidance, not gospel thing applies. But these are the temperatures, okay? These are your temperatures. Notice 15th, 16th, 17th of November, highs dropping to the 70s, morning lows dropping to the 50s. Man, I would like that. No promises here. I would like that. We'll hope for that. So essentially what we're looking at kind of in the extended range, okay? If you'd thrill me, the extended range, the idea is there's a strong cold front trying to work our direction next Friday, and then basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday we would have the opportunity to get into some cooler temperatures. Does it exactly work out that way? I would love for it to. No promises that it does, but there's at least indication. And again, we look at the GFS, for example. Now, that's Orlando. Let's look at like Ocala. That would be a high temperature on Friday, November 15th of 72, a morning low of 50. All right, so Thursday, Friday, cold front, and then actual cooler temperatures sneaking in late next week. We'll fine tune, we'll tweak, we'll adjust. But you need to know something. You need to know that's not today, that's not tomorrow, that's not Sunday. So our weekend forecast looking good, but looking warm, right? Yeah. Looks like a classic cool weekend. Not this weekend, though. This weekend, looking toasty. Would love some cool. Would really, really love some cool. All right. So that's kind of where we're at the next couple of days. Until then, we're kind of stuck in this pattern. So Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast revealing a fairly warm setup. But notice Tuesday, Wednesday, rising rain chances. And then Thursday, that rain chance will start to come down just a little bit. And then, obviously Friday, we could perhaps get there. We could perhaps swing the pendulum. Would love that. Would love that. Would love that. Would love that. Yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns about our forecasts the next couple of days. And then we can move on, talk tropics, etc. Janice says, jump in your pool this weekend. I would say if your pool is heated. As long as it's heated, like today, for example, it's a great day. As long as your pool is heated. If it's not heated, then yeah. Don't do it. All right. Brandy, did you just post yesterday we have cool weather coming? Yes, and I just spoke for probably 3-4 minutes about it. But it's not coming this weekend or early next week. Yeah. Patty says, I'm loving the warmth and keeping the pool open. Heated, but open. I like that. Yeah. Agreed, agreed, agreed. All right, questions about our local forecast these next couple of days. Otherwise, we can move on and talk the tropics. I'll wait. I'll wait. Lots of events. So, in talking about events this weekend, we've of course got College Park Jazz Fest. Looking great. I wrote feeling good. And if any of your jazz fans, you'll get, you know, there's some references there. All right. So there's that. All right. Let's see. Then we've got this weekend we have the Veterans Day Parade in downtown Orlando, 25th anniversary parade, which is wonderful. It's going to be nice and it's going to be warm. Of course, Orlando City in the MLS Cup playoffs. That looks like a really nice forecast there. A really nice forecast. Yeah. Lots of, let's see, we've got, I know I did an EDC forecast if I can find the darn thing. Seriously, Burris, why is your eyes so old you can't find it? There it is. All right, EDC. Thank you. See the rave and the fireworks? So, anyway, tonight 77, tomorrow night 77, Sunday night 75. It's looking fantastic. It's absolutely looking beautiful. At Tinkerfield, which is kind of funny, like I feel like most young people don't realize not only is Tinkerfield an historic place, but it used to be a baseball stadium. So those kids that are rocking out, they probably don't even realize the neat history that is literally under their feet. So anyway, all right, 7-day forecast. So this weekend, lots of events. And then on Monday, it is Veterans Day. So we always need to thank those that have served our country or continue to serve our country or continue to support those that serve our country. Yeah, Monday's we should do that every day, but Monday's a good day to do it. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those temperatures start to head in the right direction. Yeah, Janice says, I love the history you get. Well, thank you. Seriously, though, look up, if you aren't familiar, look up Tinkerfield and see what has happened there over the years. It's fantastic. And while it is no longer a baseball stadium, and I remember when the stadium was there, while it's no longer a baseball stadium, it's still something. All right, and the former location of the Vans Warp Tour. Oh man. Oh man. Matthew says I used to play there when I was a kid. It's funny. I can still see the stands in my mind. Yeah. All right. Questions? No? We good? All right. So let's talk about Rafael. We knew this was going to be a squirrely bird of a system. There's the current statistics. Winds are at 120 miles an hour. Still a very formidable hurricane. Alex says, when we get to the tropics, can you explain why Raphael's path is so out there? Absolutely. That's absolutely what we're going to do. We're also going to look, laugh, live, laugh, love, make fun of. Yeah. Okay, so Hurricane Raphael. It's the 4 a.m. advisory because remember, with the time change, the weather services still operate on Zulu time. And one of the things that you have to learn when you're a pilot or when you do weather, you have to. I mean, I cheat and I have a little not a calculator, but like I've got a live conversion on my watch. But and I mean, at the end of the day, I've done this long enough, I could just do it in my head. But the Hurricane Center puts out their advisories now at 4 a.m., 4 p.m., and at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. So anyway, yeah, that's looking weird. It's doing weird things. It's formidable, though, right? Here's a look at the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Currently a major hurricane again, Category 3, expected to weaken. Category 1, continue to weaken, move toward Texas, lift to the north, do a little recurve, drop to the south, weaken, remnant low. So essential, and that's Wednesday. So you're essentially looking at almost a week's time where it's just going to meander and then loop around and do its thing. Oh my. That's right, Matt. So why? What's happening here? Well, essentially, you have to remember we're in November. So, first things first, there are cold fronts. There is the jet stream that's further south. There are things like that that play in to this that do not play in during the summer months, right? The other thing that's kind of interesting is in terms of intensity is it's dropped off the shelf of tropical cyclone heat potential. So atmospherically, right? Yesterday, it moved off that shelf of boiling energy in the Gulf. So now it should start to weaken, and it's going to get picked up by the atmospherics of this all. So when we look at, for example, like our future cast, you can kind of see it's trying to hold its own, but it's going to start to lift. It's gonna do this weird thing. It's gonna just sit. It's gonna maybe loop around. But see how Futurecast by Sunday's already like, yeah, you're kind of done. And then after that, Futurecast doesn't go further, but that's when it basically gets absorbed by mid and upper level energy, losing tropical characteristics, losing energy, and all of that sort of thing. So that's the weirdness that will be. And maybe this is another way to explain it. Okay, so there's the hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. We're looking beautiful. But even let's just go back to the beginning. Like there's a front, a trough that turns to a front out near Texas. And that kind of protects Texas and stalls it out. And then it's going to be the shear along that front in Texas that starts to just wipe it away. Right? For us, a couple of showers. But Rafael does its thing, kind of falls apart. Yeah. And we are better for it. So that's where we're at now. Kind of an interesting little setup though. I need a minute. All right, so let's look beyond. So today's the 8th. All right. Let's look at Wednesday. So as Rafael is still, let's look at Wednesday. Rafael's still kind of out in the Gulf of Mexico, but the GFS is giving another signal. Okay. So you've got Rafael fading in the Gulf, but the GFS is giving another signal in the Caribbean. Thursday, 15th, giving another signal of something trying to get going down in the Caribbean. Now, this is one of those situations where we should have, and we started Coffee Talk discussing this, we should have a cold front that has just slapped through Central Florida, slapping us with a beautiful taste of fall weather. That should protect us and eventually shear this apart, or it should at least. But there's a signal there. So I only mention this to illustrate that we may not be done with hurricane season, which is just stupid. All right. Next name on the list would be Sarah. I told Manolfi yesterday, like, let Sarah be a little nothing. I want Hurricane Tony to be something we have to watch. That's just me being, a putz. So anyway, let's look at some raw model data together. Oh, and before we even do that, like, why could we see more activity? Let's look at the Madden-Julian oscillation. And if you're new to Coffee Talk, I show the worldwide map here. But essentially, think of this as where are the atmospherics favorable for spin? Where are the atmospherics favorable for lift? And currently, the Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, open for business, right? The phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation is favoring that lift for us. And notice all the way through the 13th, 14th, 15th, we stay in phase. That's why, yeah, like my brother said, it's like a green light for lift and opportunistic systems. And that's what tropics are. They're opportunistic systems. So, we stay in phase all the way through like what, the 18th? And even beyond, all the way through late. I mean, look at that, all the way through the 23rd. So the reality is we may end up having sneaky little things that try to do sneaky little things through the end of the month because we stay in phase. All right. So here's the raw GFS model. There's Rafael, top left. Over near Puerto Rico, there's another area of low pressure. Hurricane center, by the way, giving that area a low 20% chance of forming. I didn't show the graphic, but it's there. So there's Rafael. Hold on. Click. There's Rafael doing its thing. Little area of low pressure may or may not develop through the Turks and Caicos over to Cuba. around the Keys by Monday may raise our rain chances a little bit. That's why our 7-day forecast on Monday has a rain chance that's higher, right? May try to bubble up some crummier weather Monday, Tuesday. For me, my next instrument lesson is on Monday, and I'm like, a little stratiform rain wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Clouds, showers. Could I have some good actual? Daddy Lake. Okay. All right. And then beyond that, front kind of hanging around the 13th, the 14th. Watch how the pressure shoves away and kind of forces. So atmospheric dynamics. And this is why like meteorology is fascinating. So here's Tuesday. All right, let's go back even further. So you've got that you've got Rafael still meandering in the Gulf according to the GFS. You've got that other area of low pressure in the Keys, may develop, may not, whatever it does. You've basically got a lot of lowered pressure around Florida. That's Tuesday, lowered pressure around Florida. By Wednesday, notice top left corner, Oklahoma, Texas. Watch how the colors turn white. That's a cold front. And that cold front is shoving the moisture little bit by little bit like a snowplow or like a broom. And what that actually does is as it's shoving all of this to the south, building high pressure into the northwest, what it does is it almost helps to spark, especially with the Madden-Julian oscillation in phase, lowering pressure down in the Caribbean. And there you go. You got a cold front here forcing the atmosphere. Boom. And there's the GFS developing something. Okay? Clearly don't love that dynamic. So if we look, front kind of comes through, fades out, goes stationary, and that could give an opportunity for something here. Depends how strong the front is, where the front dies, that sort of thing. All right? So that's the current run of the GFS. Clearly that's not ideal. And that would almost ride along like a stationary front. And then high pressure builds in. So that's the current run of the GFS. Let's go back a run. Same kind of idea. Secondary low, blah, blah, blah. Front, forcing lift. Another front kind of picks it up. So there you go. Depends on where that front over Florida, the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, it depends where that front dies, that sort of thing. Matt's asking, is that the next thing the BSR indicator we've been seeing? It could be. It's closer in the dates, right? Yeah. Let's go back 2 runs on the GFS. Rafael, secondary low over South Florida. Front comes through, generates low pressure. Yeah. That's the more stereotypical path. It would be east of us, but we'll see. Catherine says, I just want to put out my Christmas decorations. I know. I know. God, I know. My HOA would slap me. So that's interesting. All right, let's look around European. Rafael, secondary low. The euro even has an indication of something, but notice how it stays south, right? So interesting. Euro AI. The 6Z is running, so let's just go back to the 0Z, the most recent full run. Interesting that it's got this like recurvature and then come back over toward like Florida's Big Bend, blah, 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 blah. That's 14th, 15th. Euro AI doesn't really develop anything in the Caribbean after, which is fine, but Euro AI's got some fronts. All right. Canadian. Yep. Little low. Oh, interesting that the Euro AI and the Canadian take basically Rafael and bring it back toward us. Sloppy low, like nothing all that organized. But it does show like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week could be crummy weather days. Then there's a front, and the Canadian does not develop anything in the Caribbean after. So there you go. Model data is kind of a little all over the place, just like Raphael's path. So it is what it is. If anything else were to develop, next name on the list would be Sarah. I would love Sarah to be a nothing and then Tony to be. I just want to track Tony. Is that so much to ask? Is that so much to ask? I don't think so. All right. Anyway, 7-day forecast. Right now, you can see, though, we're starting to hedge bets with rising rain chances late this weekend into early next week. And then afterward, late week could start to clear things out. All right. So that's start watching that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rain chance. It will go up if these trends continue. All right. I would love some sweet, sweet actual instrument conditions. You just want to put Tony's face on the forecast cone. For reputation purposes and for trust purposes, I would not do that. But I do want to internally make fun of Tony. That's all. That's all. Got to keep credibility. But here, it's a different story. That's a different story. All right. All right. So that's our 7-day forecast. All right. A lot of people asking about the BSR. Stand by. I'll do it. Do that. Turn you off. Turn you on. All right. Stop. For those of you that are new, it takes me a few seconds to get it set up. The BSR is like a teleconnection. I mean, there's something there. There's a clear signal there. 20. It's like the 14th. So interesting. Like that's the 14th. The 13th, 14th time frame, 12th, 13th, 14th time frame. There's a signal of that 12th, 13th, 14th on the BSR. Then high pressure, then another cold front. So I mean that's, and then I mean that's interesting. That's an interesting signal there. Around the 18th. That's a pretty decent signature around the 18th. Yeah. Steph, I did not hear that. Explorer of the Seas, I did not hear that. No. I don't even, I'll have to look and see where they are. I don't even know where they are. Cold fronts. All I see is a bunch of cold fronts. Although, look at that. Like, there's another. I'm going to say it again. I've said it before. 2, 3. That's the 21st of November. Another. The second half of November looks very active for our weather pattern. Like, we've been enjoying some quiet weather, but it looks like around mid-month, the 13th, 14th, like, it does look to go very active for us. Seriously. There's another storm system. This looks like a good like Tornado Alley severe weather event right there. That would be around the 25th-ish. But like I said, I know that I've said this in the past. The second half of this month really looks busy. And then way down the line, another storm system. That's like Thanksgiving, another storm system, cold front, another cold front afterward, high pressure. That looks really nice. That's like December 4th. Another cold front afterward. And then some low pressure area around December 10th. And that's about as far out as it goes. So, I know I've said it before. I'll tell you again. Um, the second half of November really, really looks busy. It really does. So let's enjoy this little quiet chapter that we have. But second half of November is looking busy, right? All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Yeah? Everything else good? I believe the cruise is heading back to Spain to drop off injured passengers and will arrive in Miami November 7th and 6th. Oh, you don't ever want to hear people hurt. Man, you don't want to ever hear anything about people hurt. All right. Catherine says, do the sloppy data and models for Rafael make yours and Jeremy's jobs harder when it comes to tracking and plotting? No, because we don't track models when it comes to our long range forecast. It is absolutely about what actually happened. So we wait for the actual events and then we go from there. Brian says, go fly blind. I'm working today. I'm doing the noon and 4, but on Monday, bring on that rain chance. I'll go fly blind in it. I'll go fly blind. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Have a great one. I'll see you all on WESH 2 News at noon and 4. All